the beginning of July, 1976, 972 miles from here. We're in a drought. It's a really hot day, and it hadn't rained all summer. But the carnival just rolled into town for a 4-day stint, so everyone knew that it was definitely going to rain within the next 4 days. All of the farmers were in a very celebratory mood out at the Red Apple on the edge of town. And when you were at the carnival, there were only 2 places to take refuge during a drencher. One was Rip-Off Row, where you could go and win prizes. You could try to win prizes by throwing lopsided balls at clunky milk bottles and throw darts and try to pop balloons. We spent a lot of time on Rip-Off Row just trying to win blacklight posters and switchblades that opened into combs. The other place you could get refuge from the rain was in the band shell, and that's where all the kids hung out and smoked cigarettes. But across the river and under the train bridge, about a mile down on the far west side of our town in Dixon, my friends Danny, Scotty, Ace, and I were walking down a dirt road on Dodge Street. And we lived a kind of Lord of the Flies existence back then. And it wasn't because our parents didn't care about us, but they were really hardworking people. So we were kind of left to our own devices. And on the West End, there weren't any adults around really during the day, and there weren't really a lot of cops around too. So there was always a spirit of adventure in the air, like anything could happen at any time. But this day was calm. Nothing's going on. But crap was about to hit the fan. We heard a voice from behind us yelling, a little kid's voice. It was Randy Williams, and he was yelling, "Hey guys, hey guys, wait up!" We knew that Randy had big news, and he pedaled up on a brand new green, sparkly Schwinn Stingray with a sweet sissy bar, a bad-o banana pogo seat, monkey bars. He had a chromed-out pumpkin headlight and one of those chain-link steering wheels on his handlebars. Randy skidded up to a stop and said, "Ace, Old Man Wolf and his sons are looking for you. They're looking for you. They're going to make you pay for what you did to little Wolfie." And as the words were leaving Randy's lips, we could see Old Man Wolf take the turn off Eels Avenue onto Dodge Street in a black Dodge Fury. Big block, V8, police interceptor engine, and some sweet, non-functional side air louvers. Old Man Wolf was one of the craziest and most unpredictable guys on the West End. One time, we went to his house to try to get a ride to Harold's skating rink on a Friday night. And we were going to ask Old Man Wolf for a ride. And his wife said, "I wouldn't go out in the backyard if I were you because my husband's in the woodshed and he's listening to Electric Light Orchestra really loud. So there's no telling what he's going to do. I wouldn't go back there." But Ace was my best friend. He was 12 years old. He was about the size of a standard poodle. And he had a troubled childhood. His old man was a vicious drunk. He used to fight at the same bar my dad fought at. And his old man would hang him from a tree branch 6 feet off the ground when he was only about 5 years old, just to toughen him up. On account of he was really small. He was a runt in the family, and his old man just knew he was going to get picked on a lot. So he wanted to just toughen him up a little bit, and it worked. One time, Ace and I were at White Castle's eating hamburgers, and there were 2 big kids outside the window tapping on the glass, just punching their hands into their fists. We didn't even know these kids, but they somehow had a score to settle with Ace. So we took our time eating our burgers and went really slow, hoping they would leave. And then when we went outside, they jumped Ace, and I saw Ace open up a can of you-know-what on two guys at once. And it was really impressive. And so Old Man Wolf, by now, Ace was like this kid who, I don't know, he could take care of himself really well. I mean, he had a secret weapon. He wore a Captain America suit under his clothes at all times. He'd been wearing it since Halloween because he said it made him feel tough. It gave him protection. One thing was for sure at this point, there was no escaping Old Man Wolf because he was about a quarter mile away and he was bearing down fast on us. You could see his big white knuckles holding the steering wheels and his face right above the steering wheel. And we were just waiting for that moment when his car would leave the blacktop and hit the dirt road. And when it did, huge plumes of dust rose up from both sides of his car, about 30, 40 feet in the air, taking the shape of evil devil horns. I mean, I don't know what was more exciting, seeing Old Man Wolf and that black Dodge Fury barreling down on us, or Randy straddling that sweet Schwinn Stingray. Now, the All-Star Wrestling Association had just visited our town a few months ago. So our town was held in the grip of wrestling, kind of like a Nick Bockwinkel standing sleeper hold. When Old Man Wolf pulled up, he was going so fast. At first, we thought he was going to drive right past us. But then he locked him up, slammed on the brakes, and slid to a stop. And then that evil devil cloud caught up to him and swallowed his entire car. We couldn't see anything. We heard a car door open, and we heard a car door slam. And when that devil cloud went by, Old Man Wolf was standing there on the side of the road smiling. He was happy. He was really happy he found us. And he said, "Which one of you's Ace?" And Ace was calm. He was too calm for a kid who was about to take on an old man. And, Ace could have probably took off running, but I was watching Ace, and he was just like looking around on the ground, looking for a weapon, looking for anything he could use on Old Man Wolf, like a broken piece of rebar, a chunk of concrete. But Ace had this, every time Ace got in a fight, he built a wall. He started building a little bit of a wall up so he could hide behind for protection. And every time he got into a violent confrontation, he'd build that wall up a little bit higher, and he would stay behind that wall just a little bit longer. And I remember when we were at the All-Star Wrestling show, and the entire town was there. All the major wrestlers were there. Blackjack, Brannigan, the Lumberjack, the Crusher was there, the Flying Samoans. At the end of the night, I remember Ace and I were standing in the 10th row, and Bobby the Brain Heenan came out. He was like the self-proclaimed world's best wrestling manager. And we watched as Bobby the Brain Heenan would distract the refs, and so he couldn't really see all of the double teaming and cheating going on behind his back. And then he would distract the opponents by insulting them and insulting their families. And we're there, and Old Man Wolf, he's like, this a little punk that beat you up? You gotta be kidding me. We didn't know it, but Wolfie was in the car right behind us. We couldn't even see him because he was so little. His head was barely popping up. "Don't just sit in the car, son. Get out here right now. You get over there and you kick his butt, or you're going to get worse than what I gave you this morning." When we found out that Ace was only going to have to fight Wolfie, we all relaxed because we knew this was going to be over really quick and we could make it to the carnival before sunset. When the fight started, everyone started yelling, and it was like we were back in the wrestling match. Get him, Wolfie, get him! Come on, Ace, jump on him. Give him a sternum chop, sternum chop. And then his dad was like really religious, and he was like, the walls of Jericho, the walls of Jericho. I guess that was a wrestling move I didn't know. But Wolfie, he knew he could never win a fight against Ace with his fists, and he could never, impress his dad with his fists and win his dad's affection. So Wolfie was a really good wrestler, so he went with his ground game. He went right for Ace's feet. He tried to grab Ace's legs, and Ace was getting more frustrated than anything. He didn't really want to fight Wolfie again, especially didn't want to beat him up in front of his dad. And in fact, he didn't really want to fight Wolfie in the first place, but it was kind of a complicated situation that happened the day before, and it was kind of my fault. Wolfie and Ace just kind of got caught in the middle. It was something to do with Columbia House Records and tapes, and it was a breach of contract, and Ace was trying to help me raise $27.86 to pay off these lawyers, and poor Wolfie just kind of got caught in the middle. And so when the match started, Ace was, standing there. He's getting kind of frustrated with Wolfie because Wolfie just kept trying to wrestle him down, and Ace was just kind of pushing him off and stuff. He really wasn't comfortable fighting him in front of his dad. And his old man just could tell that this was not going to turn out good. And he just started pulling a play right out of the Bobby the Brains playbook. And he was like, Ace, Wolfie, get over there and kick his butt. His family's trash. He's trash. His old lady's a trashy lady. His old man's a drunk. He deserves a good beating. His whole family could use a good beating. Come on, Wolfie, get him. And it kind of worked because Ace heard him say that, and he looked over at old man Wolf and gave him one of these. And Wolfie took advantage of that and took a really clean shot right at Ace's face. And from there, it just kind of escalated, and then, old man Ace was able to pull him off, and just every time Wolfie would try to get a move on him, Ace could wriggle free, pull a counter move, do a reversal. And then old man Wolf was just getting more and more frustrated. He was like, son, if you don't kick his butt right now, I'm going to turn you into a punching bag when we get home. The next thing I know, I saw Ace do something I never saw him do before in a fight. He just dropped his hands. And old man, I'd just never seen him do that before. We didn't know what he was doing. And old man Wolf had no idea either. But he wasn't waiting around to find out. He was like, hit him, Wolfie, hit him, he's open. And Ace was just standing there with his hands on him. Wolfie just took both hands and just went wham, right in Ace's face. And then he just kept his arms down. He never lifted his hands. He just stood there with his arms down at his sides, and his old man was just like, hit him, Wolfie, hit him, hit him. See, on the West End, no kid ever left himself open. You just don't do that. And Wolfie just kept punching him, and Ace was just standing there taking these blows, and his face was just bleeding, and his shirt was all ripped up. And Ace was just, he had taken so many hits, he finally just fell to his one knee and put his hands over his head and said, I give. And Wolfie's dad, he couldn't have been happier. He was so happy for his son. He ran over there and he scooped him up. He scooped up Wolfie and he put him on his shoulder and he started carrying him back to that Dodge Fury. He's like, son, I'm proud of you. I'm going to take you to get some ice cream. And then he they both got in that black Dodge Fury, and they did a U-turn, and he just floored it, throwing gravel and dirt over all of us. We're just standing there. Well, Ace went behind the wall. He wasn't going to talk. There was nothing I could do to get him to say a word. I could shake him by the shoulders, and every question that I asked him was an impossible question for him to even answer. What do you want to do, Ace? Where do you want to go? And Ace was like, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? I mean, what can I do? Where can I go to get out of this little hick town and all these jerks and all this fighting and all this corn? Well, we spent the next 4 days at the carnival. We got there early every day, and we stayed till the end of the night. We ate greasy corn dogs and funnel cake, and we sloshed around in the rain. We rode every single ride. We rode the Zipper, we rode the Scrambler, we rode the Ferris wheel. We rode them, it seemed like 100 times. And then we went under the bandshell and pounded a couple cool menthols. And on the last night of the 4th of July carnival, we watched the fireworks explode over the Rock River. And it was amazing. We watched the colors reflected on the murky brown water. And then we walked home to my house, and Ace was still silent. I mean, he was under the bandshell, just shoving cotton candy in his mouth, just totally silent, looking out onto the horizon. I was just wondering, what is he even thinking about? Well, when we got to my house, I decided that I was going to put on Ace's favorite 45 out of my Uncle Richie's record collection to try to cheer him up. And this was a song that always got him going. So I put it on, and I started dancing around and singing to him. If I knew you were coming out of baked a cake, baked a cake, baked a cake. And I saw Ace smile a little bit, and he started coming back to me. And finally, I'd had enough. I couldn't handle him not talking anymore. Even though I was his friend, I never really pushed him to talk, because when I knew he was behind the wall, I knew he just needed his space. And as a friend, I just wanted to give him that space. But I just couldn't take it anymore. So I tackled him, I got him down on the ground, and I got him in a half Nelson. And I held him down there on the carpet, and I said, Ace, why did you let him win? Why did you throw that fight? I mean, I saw you take on Fat Albert Clayton in a walnut fight. And I mean, in a walnut fight, there's clear rules of engagement. Walnuts only. You don't throw anything but walnuts. And Fat Albert Clayton threw a rock and hit Ace right in the head, and blood started coming out of his ear. And then Fat Albert Clayton threw a tree branch and hit him in the back. And I saw Ace run over there and jump up on Fat Albert's back and start unleashing a barrage of punches from behind on Albert Clayton. And then he fell over into the gravel, and Ace just kept hitting him. And finally, Fat Albert Clayton said, I give. And I said, I saw you beat up Fat Albert. I mean, why did you let him win? And after 4 days, Ace said 8 words. I didn't want to give him the satisfaction. And I was like, who? And he said, my old man's been using me as a punching bag my whole life. Pat, I just want it to end. I want all this fighting to just end. I want to just get out of this town and get away from all these people. And I just hate all this corn. Thank you.